Okay, so we're diving deep today into what's happening right now in Linden, Guyana.
Right.
And we're basing this on a news report straight from News Source Guyana,
Got it.
dated April 8th, 2025.
Okay.
It focuses on what's been going on in Linden right after some really serious events.
I see.
And to quickly introduce ourselves for our listeners, I'm the host.
And I'm the expert for today.
All right, so this report really highlights these escalating tensions in Linden, and it all stems from this fatal police shooting of a 21-year-old.
Ronaldo Peters.
Yes, Ronaldo Peters.
Tragically, even more so, a protest that followed this initial shooting led to another death.
Oh, wow.
Another young man, Keon Fudgenet.
So 2 deaths now.
Yes, sadly, also by police gunfire.
Okay, so this News Source Guyana report is really our main window into all of this.
Right.
And it includes these very strong statements from Linden's mayor, Sharma Solomon,
I see.
and even mentions a CCTV video that seems to show something different from what the police first said about the initial shooting.
That's interesting.
Yeah, so our goal is to really dig into what this report tells us about the main arguments and viewpoints right after these events in Linden.
Absolutely. Let's break it down.
Okay, so first, that initial incident, the killing of Ronaldo Peters.
Right. As you said, the report highlights that Linden Mayor Sharma Solomon sees this as the spark that ignited everything.
So that's what started all this unrest.
That's what he's saying.
Okay, now the Guyana police force, they did put out a statement about Peters' death, right?
They did. It's in the report.
But here's where it gets really complicated.
What's that?
That CCTV video I mentioned, it supposedly shows something different from what the police said happened.
Oh, wow. So right away you have these two completely different stories.
Exactly. And I imagine that doesn't exactly build trust.
No, not at all. I mean, when you have those kinds of discrepancies so early on, it really raises questions about the official narrative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huge questions, right?
Yeah, and likely fueled that community response and the protests.
Which then led to, as you said, that second death. So tragic.
Yeah, Keon Fudgenet, they called him Dan.
During a protest, shot by the police.
It's awful.
And Mayor Solomon really came down hard on the police after this.
He did, particularly on them using live rounds during the protest.
Right. Emphasizing this devastating loss of another young life.
Absolutely. And the report directly quotes him saying, "There is no way a second young man should have been shot, more so to lose his life with live rounds. It is most unfortunate that this is the de-escalating ability of the Guyana police force to further escalate the matter."
Wow, he doesn't mince words.
No, he doesn't. He clearly believes the police made a terrible situation even worse.
And he doesn't stop there.
No. He goes on to say that the police's actions are the direct cause of how things escalated.
Shifting the blame away from how the community reacted?
Yes, he's saying that this isn't about how the community responded, but about what the police did.
Interesting. Why would a local leader be so quick to take such a firm stance?
Well, remember how the report mentions that the officers involved in both shootings?
Right.
Mayor Solomon claims they are known to the community and have been involved in other incidents previously.
So there's history there.
Yes, potentially a long and strained relationship between the community and the police.
I see. And this is backed up by another powerful statement from Mayor Solomon.
Oh, yes, the one where he says, "By now, Linden should understand what is happening in this community. Nowhere else in this country. You got unrest or people with disagreement and people come and kill them. It only happens in Linden."
It's a powerful statement. It suggests that Linden is being targeted or treated differently than other communities.
Right, that there's a sense of isolation and injustice, that this kind of response only happens in Linden.
It's a lot to unpack. What could contribute to such a strong sentiment from a community leader?
That's a question worth exploring further. But for now, let's shift gears slightly to the broader national response.
Okay.
The report mentions that both President Irfan Ali and the Minister of Home Affairs, they called for everyone to remain calm.
Right, kind of a standard response in these situations.
Yes, and they promised a thorough investigation.
Which again is expected.
But what's interesting is that the report also mentions opposition parliamentarians were on the ground in Linden.
And they're calling for a swift and independent investigation.
Exactly. And remember, these are members of the political parties not currently in power. So their presence shows how politically charged this situation is.
It also shows a desire for oversight to make sure things are handled fairly.
Absolutely. That's a key takeaway here.
Now, before we wrap up, I think it's crucial to reiterate that everything we've discussed comes straight from that News Source Guyana report.
Right. From April 8th, 2025.
And given how politically charged these events are and those conflicting accounts of the first shooting, it's really important for us to be clear.
Yes, we are not endorsing any particular side or viewpoint here.
Our goal is simply to understand the immediate narrative, the key questions, the concerns being raised at that time.
Exactly. We're laying out the information as it was presented then.
Okay, so to recap what we've learned from this report, 2 young men were killed by police in Linden in separate incidents.
Right, leading to huge tension.
The local mayor has been very vocal, pointing to conflicting accounts of the first shooting and what he sees as a troubling pattern of police behavior in Linden.
And we have the government calling for calm and promising an investigation, while the opposition is pushing for an independent inquiry.
It's a complex situation with a lot of unanswered questions.
It really is, and it raises a huge question for our listeners. How do we get to the truth when there are such different narratives from the very start? And when you have such serious concerns being raised by community leaders about their police force, what does that say about the relationship between law enforcement and the people they're supposed to serve?
It's a lot to think about.
It is.
Thank you for joining us for this deep dive.
It was my pleasure.
And we'll continue to follow this story as it develops.
Absolutely.
Till next time,
See you then.
stay informed
Stay curious.
and stay engaged.
We'll see you in the next deep dive. Why?
Yes. There is no way a second young man should have been shot, more so to lose his life with live rounds.
Yes.
It is most unfortunate that this is the de-escalating ability of the Guyana police force to further escalate the matter. So what we are seeing here is not a result of the community. This is a direct result of the police action and behavior. Not only last night, but the continued behavior. So this is Mr. Liverpool, and people may know other police officers around the Linden community. This is outside of their understanding and control. People being sent it. Think about it. Even Mr. Kendall, who murdered a young man, we're using language because we're not being reckless. We saw what we saw, and what we saw was a crime. An unarmed young man running and was murdered. Who is Kendall? He left this community because of those behavior and attitude. Why did he return to this community? So to the extent, Mr. Pilgrim, who shot the second young man, now we know the names, was here in 2012 and did the same bridge work. He was here in 20, he was on this bridge and was part of that crew. Now they're returning 2 officers who got bad behavior and bad reputation in this town, who have murdered 2 young men. This is beyond Mr. Liverpool and any other police. And by now, Linden should understand what's happening in this community. Nowhere else in this country you got unrest or people with disagreement and people just come and kill them. Nowhere else. It only happens in Linden. It only happens in Linden.
So you're saying to me at this time, it makes no sense going across there to address
They come with their kill squad. The kill squad done in Linden.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, before the squad there, I think Mr. Kendall should